Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. Now today I'm going to show you how to crochet this a beautiful baby shawl, or you can just use it as a blanket. It's up to you. It's got a circular, I can't get it all into my picture. It's got a circular centre, that's a treble crochet. It's got this lacy mesh, I'll put that down so you can see it. It's got this lacy mesh. Now I show you how to do so much of it. If you want to carry on and make that wider, you can just carry on doing the rows. And then it's got this really pretty little cluster stitch. And again, if you want to make this wider to here, you can make it wider if you want. And then I just put the last row with these really pretty little peaks on it. Now it looks complicated, but again, as always, it's not. It's not. So I'm going to show you how to do this beautiful blanket, and believe me, it's easier than you think it is. To do the inner circle part and have a nice big flat circle like this, I'm going to show you how to do a magic circle to start the beginning. That way you can pull the cord in really tight and you don't have a hole in the middle. It's a lot easier than doing a chain. Now I've got my yarn. I'm going to show you how to start this circle. I've got the tail end of the yarn at the front of my hand, on the palm of my hand. Bring your yarn over into a cross. Make a cross with it. Take your crochet hook and go into the top right of this cross, underneath that, and pull this one around like that. Just pull it through. Get your working end of your yarn. Just bring it in. Yarn over your hook and pull through. Get your tail and just give it a little pull. And once we have made the first circle, when you pull this tail, it will tighten it all in really tight. So that's us got our little magic circle. So I'm going to chain 2 more, 1 and 2. That counts as your first stitch. Count that as your first stitch. A lot of people have said to me, I've got too many or I don't have enough. Count that. You've got to count that as stitch 1. So we're going to do treble crochets. I'm going to put another 11 treble crochets inside this hoop, inside this part here. Another 11. We need 12 all together. A treble crochet in the UK. Yarn over, go through inside that hoop and pull your yarn up. You've got 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over and pull through 2 loops. If you're in the USA or another country, this is called a double crochet, but in the UK it's called a treble crochet. So we've got 2, 1, 2. So we need another 10. Yarn over into the hole, into that big loop, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. You can now see your little magic ring. If you give it a little pull, it doesn't need to be too big. So yarn over, we've got 1, 2, 3. So we need 12, a count of 12. 1, 2, 3. This one's number 4. Count them round, count that chain as well, count that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and 12. Here's where your magic loop comes in handy, or your magic ring. Get the tail end and pull. Pull it tight in, and look how tightly it closes that centre. Now your chain of 3, 1, 2, 3, we're going to go into the top of that chain of 3 and through those 2 stitches. Pull your yarn through, this is a slip stitch, and through that one. So now we've got our little wheel of 12. And pull your magic ring, pulls it all in nice and neat. So what we're going to do now is we're going to put 2 treble crochets into every stitch. If you're in the USA, it's a double crochet through the top of every stitch. So yarn over, and we're going to do a chain of 3. 1, 2 and 3. That counts as your first treble crochet. Now into the top of here, this little space here, you're going to put 1 more treble crochet. Yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. So that's us got our first set of 2 crochet stitches. Into the next stitch, yarn over, we're going to put another 2 treble crochets. 1 and 2 into that same stitch all the way around. So we're going to end up with 24 stitches. So into the top of this next one, we're going to put 2 treble crochet. 1 and 2. I'm going to put my last 2 treble crochets. 1 and 2. So I've now got 24 treble crochets. So into the top of that chain of 3, I'm going to do a slip stitch. So a slip stitch, just push your hook through the top of that chain, pull your yarn through and slip through that second loop. And that's our second round. So we're going to chain 3 next round. Chain 3, 1, 2 and 3. Now into that tiny little space right there, you're going to put another treble crochet right into that tiny little space. So that's your first increase. So into the next stitch, we're going to put 1 treble crochet. Into the next stitch, we're going to put 2 treble crochets. Into the same stitch, 1 and 2. And this is how you make a really nice flat circle. Into the next stitch, we're going to put 1 treble crochet. The next stitch, we're going to put 2 treble crochets into the same stitch. If you're in the USA, this is a double crochet. The next stitch is 1, so we'll do 1 treble crochet, then 2 into the same stitch, 1 into the next one, 2 into the next one, all the way around, and we should finish on 1 treble crochet, and we'll slip stitch join to the top. So I'm on my last stitch and I'm going to do 1 treble crochet, and we're going to slip stitch into the top of that chain of 3. 1, 2, 3. Push your hook through, pull your yarn through, and slip stitch through that one. Round 1 was 2 treble crochets into every stitch. Round 2 was 2 treble crochets into one stitch, then 1 into the next stitch, and then 2 into the next stitch. So the next round is chain 3, 1, 2, 3. This is the way you're going to continue with every round. You're going to make the distance between your 2 crochets wider and wider. So into the very next stitch, that little hole that's there, so this is going to be our 2 treble crochet into the same stitch, counting your chain. So the next stitch, we're going to put 1 treble crochet into this stitch, 1 treble crochet into this stitch, then 2 into the next one. So we're going to have 2 single crochets in between our increasing stitches. So 1 treble crochet into that stitch, 1 into the next stitch, and then 2 treble crochets into this stitch, 1 and 2. So we're increasing on the 3rd stitch round. So 1 single crochet, 1 single crochet, then put 2 into this one. By a single crochet I mean just put 1 into the stitch. So 1 treble crochet, 1 treble crochet, and then 2 into the next stitch, 1 and 2 into the same stitch. So I've done my last 2 trebles into that stitch. I'm going to put 1 into this stitch and 1 into my last stitch, and I'm going to slip stitch into the top of this chain of 3. So just push your hook through, put your yarn over, pull it through that stitch and pull through that stitch. So now our circle is getting bigger, and what we're going to do is we're going to continue increasing until your circle is as big as you need it. So we're going to chain 3, 1, 2, 3. Now into this very little space right next to that chain of 3, put our first increase stitch in. So we've got 2 into that 1 stitch. So now we're going to have 3 single treble crochets and then an increase. 3 single treble crochets and then an increase. So yarn over, and we're going to put 1 into this next stitch, 1 treble crochet into the next stitch, that's 2, 1 into the next stitch. So now we have 3. So that's our first increase stitch, and we have 3, and then we're going to put 2 into the next stitch, 1 and 2 into that stitch, 2 stitches, 2 treble crochets into the same stitch, 1 treble crochet, 1 treble crochet into the next stitch, that's our second one, 1 into the next stitch, that's our third one, and then 2 into the next, increase into the next stitch. So that's 2 treble crochets into the next stitch. We're going to do that all the way around to the 3rd stitch in the chain of 3 that we began with. Pull through and pull through again. And as you can see, you've got a nice flat circle. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put 4, we're going to do 4 treble crochets, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So now we have 4 in between our increase and the next increase. So we're going to put 2 into this 5th stitch, 2 treble crochets into the 5th stitch. Now we're going to do another 4 treble crochets, 1 into there, 1 into there, 1 into there, 1 into there, and then we will put an increase into the 5th one. So 1 treble crochet into that one, that's 1, 2, 3 and our 4th, 1, 2 into the next one, so that's our increase stitch, 2 into that same stitch. So that's our increase stitch there, and this one here, and we've got 4 in between. On this one we've got 3 in between. This one has 2 in between each increase, 1, 2. The next row you've got 3. There's your increase, 1, 2, 3, and increase. And this one, there's your increase, and we've got 4, and then the increase. The next row you'll do your increase, and then you'll have 5 in between your increase stitches. The next one, it'll be 6, so you'll have a wider and wider gap in your circle for every row, so you can see where the increases have been on my little blanket. So now what we'll do is we'll do the pattern around the edge. You make your circle, make your center circle as big as you want it to be. Got my circle done to this size. I don't have it all in frame because it won't all fit into the frame. I'm going to chain 3. 1, 2, 3. That counts as my first treble crochet. So that chain of 3 is my first treble crochet. Now I'm going to chain 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 all together. So the first 3 stitches is my treble crochet, and then the other ones will come across like this. I'm going to skip 2 chain and do a treble into the 3rd stitch, a treble crochet into the 3rd stitch. If you're in the USA, that's a double crochet. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2 stitches and skip 1, 2, treble crochet into the 3rd stitch. Chain 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Skip 2, treble crochet into the 3rd stitch. You're going to do that all the way around your circle. So it's chain 3 to begin with, then chain another 5, skip 2 stitches, treble crochet into the 3rd stitch, chain 5, skip 2 stitches, treble crochet into the 3rd stitch, chain 5, skip 2 stitches, and treble crochet into the 3rd stitch, all the way around your blanket. Now I'm back to the beginning, and I've just slip stitched into the top of my chain of 3. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to zoom in a little bit. So what we're going to do now is we need to get over to stitch number 3 in the chain of 5. So the easiest way to do that is to slip stitch. Just slip stitch into there, pull your stitch through, push your hook through that first stitch and slip. Push your hook through that next stitch. Use the point if you have to. Stitches are quite small. Pull your yarn through and just slip stitch across. One, two, three. So we need to go into that 3rd one, pull your yarn through and slip stitch. So we're going to chain 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. Now into this next big chain space, count 1, 2, 3. Into the third chain, we're going to do a slip stitch. So just push your hook through that third link in the chain, pull your yarn through and pull it through your stitch. Chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. Into the next space, count 3, 1, 2, 3. Push your hook through that third link in the chain, pull your yarn through and slip stitch. And we're going to get this little sort of moon, these little domes around our blanket. 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Count 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the third link on that chain. Chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Into the middle, the next one, 1, 2, 3, slip stitch into the third chain on that chain space. So I've done my last chain of 7, and I'm going to finish off in the top of this first one that we did. I'm just going into the top of that one and slip stitch through. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do another 3 rounds just the same as this. So we're going to chain 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 7. We're going to go into the middle of this one, but it'll be the 4th stitch. With this one it was the 3rd stitch. This one we've got 7 stitches and we need to go in the middle. So the middle is the 4th stitch. So we've got 1, 2, 3 and 4. So we'll still have 3 stitches at either side of your slip stitch. So put it into the 4th stitch in that chain. Slip stitch through into there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little marker in so I don't get mixed up. Just stick a little marker on so we know that that was our first stitch, and that's where we're going to finish, in the top of that chain there. That was our first chain. So you're going to do another 3 rounds like that. So we're going to go around to the marker, we'll finish up here on this one, chain 7 again, stick a marker in it again, do another round and then another round. So we're going to do 3 more rounds. So we've got a lot of nice little diamond shapes. So once these are done, you'll have all these little diamond lace around your shawl, and then we'll go on to the next part. So we've done that first little arch one, and then we've done 4 rows, 1, 2, 3, 4 rows of this chain of 7, and we're hooping it along. So now what we're going to do now is I can take my little marker off. Don't need that now, not just now. So the next step, we're going to join all of these little points together so it looks like we've got a ring running around. We've got a line all the way around it. We're going to chain 6. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. You're going to slip stitch into the 4th part of this chain. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just like we were doing before. But what this is going to do is it's going to connect. So that one will go straight. Then you'll have a little bridge that'll go across the top of there. Watch this. So we're going to chain 6 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6. And I'm going to join it to the 4th link in this chain. just slip stitch it like you've been doing already. So what it's going to do is it's just going to close off those little hoops, and it'll give us a ring to work around. So chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 1, 2, 3, 4 into the fourth one of that chain of 7. So this is what it's going to do. It's just going to sort of close off those open triangle parts. As you can see here, you've got open parts here, and it's going to close that off, and that'll complete a little lace part of our shawl. So I'm going to continue doing that all the way along, all the way around my shawl. Chain 6, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6, 1, 2, 3, 4 into the fourth link in this chain, and slip stitch to join. And it's going to, like I said, close off these sections that are here. It'll put a little bridge across all these little dips, all these little V sections, and it's going to neaten off the section of lace on this beautiful little shawl. So when you've done all your little loops, you need an even number. I've got 66 of these little loops all the way around. If you've got 67, then add one more across. If you're finishing here, add one more and then count them. You need an even number of spaces for the next part of the pattern. Into this square, into this space. So just put your hook through, pull your yarn through and slip stitch. So now we're inside this space. I'm just going to do a stitch. So we're in this space here. So what you're going to do is you're going to wrap, we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. That's counted as your first double treble in the UK. It's counted as your first treble in the USA and other countries. We're going to do another 2 double trebles or treble crochets. Wrap your yarn around your hook twice so it looks like you've got 3 stitches. Go into the big space and pull your yarn through. Yarn over, come through 2 of those loops, yarn over and through another 2. Now leave that stitch on there like that. Yarn over twice, go back through that space, pull your yarn through, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. So you've now got 3 stitches on your hook. Put your yarn over and come through all of those stitches. We're going to chain 2, 1. So we've done a chain of 2, put your yarn around twice again, and into that same space you're going to put another 3 double trebles. So into the space, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. Now we've got 2 stitches on here. Yarn around the hook twice, so it looks like you've got 4 stitches. Into the space, pull your yarn through, yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. Now you've got 3 stitches, but we've got 3 loops up here, but we've only got 2 stitches. One of the loops belongs to this side. Yarn over twice, and for the last time go into that square. Yarn over, through 2 loops, yarn over and through 2 loops. Now you've got 4 stitches. Put your yarn over and come through all of them. So we've got our chain plus 2 double trebles, 2 chain, 3 double trebles. We're going to chain 4, sorry, 1, 2, 3 and 4. Wrap your yarn around twice and you're going to go into this little triangle space here. Into there, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over and through the last 2 loops. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4. So into the next space, into the next little triangular space, we're going to do this little cluster, this double treble cluster. So yarn over twice, 1, 2, into this loop, yarn through, yarn over and pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now you've got 2 loops left on your hook. Yarn over twice, so we've done 1 stitch, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Keep that loop on there, so we've got 2 double trebles done now. We're going to do 1 more through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. So we've got the 1 from that chain and 3 from our stitches. Yarn over, pull through the 4 loops and chain 2, 1 and 2. Put another 3 double trebles into that same space. Yarn over twice, back into the same space, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Leave that stitch on your hook, wrap your yarn twice into the space, finish your next double treble or your treble crochet, whatever country you're in, round your hook twice, back into the space, pull through and through. Put your yarn over and pull through all 4 stitches. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So in the middle of your cluster you're chaining 2, but when you move across to your next hoop you're chaining 4. So yarn over twice into the next hoop, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over and through those 2 loops. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. We're moving over to the next loop. So yarn over twice, we're going into this next loop here. So we've got a cluster in 1 loop, a double treble, a cluster in the next loop, and they will move around, so don't worry about that. Then 1 into the next one and a cluster into this next one. So we're going to put 3 double trebles. That's 1, 2, and 3. Oops. I've got 4 stitches on my hook, 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all of those loops, chain 2, 1, 2. So yarn over twice, we're going into the same space, put 3 double trebles into the same space, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops. Remember, leave your stitches on the hook just now till you've got 3 there. 1 more. So you've got your 4 loops, yarn over, pull through all of those and chain 2, 1 and 2. Oh, we're chaining 4, sorry, because we're moving across. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. yarn over twice and into the next space. Put 1 double treble into that space, chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, move to the next one, put 3 double trebles, 2 chain and 3 double trebles. So I've done my last chain of 4, and the very first chain of 4 that we did when we done our first cluster, I'm going to just slip stitch, push your hook through that 4th link in that chain of 4, and we're going to slip stitch to join. Now where we need to start the next one's actually in here, so we're going to slip stitch across the top of here. Just put your hook through the next stitch, pull through and slip through, go through the next stitch, pull through and slip through and into that space. Just slip stitch into this space here. So you're going to start with this. Start with crochet 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. This chain of 4 counts as your first stitch in your cluster. So what we're going to do now is I'm on my last chain here, and I'm going to just slip stitch into the top of this chain of 4. So slip stitch into the top of there, pull my yarn through and pull through. Now it will stretch your chain that you've done on this one as it grows. If you want to do more rounds, I've done 7. If you want to do more rounds, then do more. You may have to eventually, instead of 4 in between here, you might have to do 5 chains, because it will get wider and wider like this as you go up. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to slip stitch across my work into this space. So this is going to be my last row. If you want to do more, then feel free to add more and make this part of your shawl wider. It's up to you. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to do this last row slightly different. I want it to have a nice peak on the end, and what we're going to do with that is we're going to chain 4. 1, 2, 3 and 4. Into the chain space you're going to do 2 more double trebles, but we're not doing it as a cluster, we're going to do them as single stitches. So yarn over twice. Now remember, this last row, to get that nice peak on it, we're doing this as single stitches. So into the space and pull your yarn through. You've got 4 stitches on your hook. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. Now we would leave it there normally, but we're not doing that this time. Put your yarn over and pull through those 2 loops. So count that chain as 1 stitch, and that's your second stitch. So wrap your yarn twice, and we're going to do our third one. Yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and yarn over and through 2 loops. So we'll finish the cluster as individual stitches this time. We're going to chain 3, 1, 2 and 3, and we're going to do the same. Put 3 double treble crochets into this space, but not as a cluster. Remember, and finish each one off. So yarn over twice into the space, pull your yarn through, yarn over through 2 loops, yarn over through 2 loops, and we're going to come through those last 2 loops. Again, we'll do another one and through your stitches. So what we're doing is it's going to make it into a little peak at the end rather than a cluster, because if you can see the difference, the way we've done it as a cluster and the way we've done them as single stitches, it forms more of a peak. It goes up and then down, but on this one they're just clustered together like little wheat sheaths. I'm sure this is called a wheat sheath pattern, this part, but most people just call them clusters. So we're going to chain 4, 1, 2, 3 and 4, and we're going to do a double treble into the top of the one in that one there. Finish that off. Chain 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And we're going to go into the chain space. So wrap your yarn twice and go into the chain space, just like you've been doing for the cluster. But again, we're going to do it as single stitches. Make sure you support the rest of your blanket. So yarn over and go through your last 2 stitches. So that's 1, that's 2. Now go right through, just finish the whole stitch off. That's 2, and that's 3. So we've made that little peak part. Chain 3, 1, 2, 3, and then put another 3 double trebles in there, but do it as single stitches, if you understand what I mean. If you don't understand, leave a comment and I'll reply to it. So into this chain space, just finish off your stitch and put another 2 in. So we're finishing the end, the last row of this, the same way we did with the white one. So that's our next little peak done. So for me, this is my last row, and this is what I'm doing to make the peak on the end. It's so much prettier than it is just flat like that. It's better having that little peak on it. So this is my pretty little shawl. I've got my last round done, and I just need to join the last of my little chain to my first little peak. If you see how I showed you how to do that peak, how it makes it your edge have a nice little peak, and look at that, that's really pretty with this little cluster and the mesh, and then you've got your central part of your little blanket shawl. Now I'm going to go into the 1, 2, 3, 4th chain. I'm going to slip stitch into the 4th chain that we did at the beginning of the row, take my yarn through, just slip stitch through. I've got my scissors here, snip that off and just pull it through, pull your yarn through and finish it off. I'll get a darning needle and I'll stitch that end in, and that's it. I'm going to just zoom down a little bit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little link in the description to the Amazon pages that I've made up. A lot of people ask, where did you get that yarn, or where did you get the hooks, what crochet bag do you use, all that kind of thing. And I've made up a few pages like a little homepage on Amazon with my name on it, and if you click on that little link in the bottom, it'll take you there and you can have a look around. Even the camera equipment that I've got some of that on it. I've even got some of the stuff on it that I wish I could have. So I'd be very grateful if you just clicked on that button and subscribe to my channel. I really do appreciate all the subscribers. If you also click on that little notification bell, you'll get notified when I put up another tutorial. So that's the benefit of being a subscriber. You won't get asked for any money for being a subscriber. It doesn't cost you any money to be a subscriber, just to subscribe to the channel. All it does is it just gives me some great moral support. So thank you very much for that. So until the next time, happy crafting, and I'll see you all again soon. Goodbye.